in my ass.
I just banged your wife?
Name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday night impacting. His mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha skin manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
We are the Rascals. And you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah. What's up, Impact Wrestling? Let's make some noise!
Sitting here, you guys got a 15-minute intro of putting yourselves over while I'm sitting here and watching J-Bone and Kalon and your 50. I never saw a 15-minute intro of three guys putting themselves over.
This is the good stuff.
Welcome back, Impact fans. Feature right here on the TNI network. This is the Throwback Show. This is NWA-TNA number 50, and there's a hell of an echo going on in the background. Whose computer is that?
It was me.
Okay, it was Mark. Okay, so this is Trent with my co-host today, J-Bone, and Uncle Mark is in the house. Mark, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here again, as always.
Thanks for having me.
I love having you on these throwbacks because you are watching them with us. We communicate throughout the day we're watching them, which is the best part to me, because we're like, "Can you believe this shit happened? This shit happened?" And then we kind of then we actually do the review, and it's always fun. So good to have you back.
Well, thank you.
This is number 50, guys. This is technically the first Slammiversary, is what I'm calling it, because it really is, right, J-Mo? It's like technically the first Slammiversary, huh? They didn't call it that, but it is.
No, they didn't call it that, but they call it the anniversary show, which is just, what are you going to call the first anniversary show? Let's call it the anniversary show. Let's go with it.
But I mean, for my terminology, I'm going to call it, this is technically the first Slammiversary. Like, in terms of without title and name, it's like the first anniversary show. So always cool when that happens. It's crazy because throughout this show, there were so many highlights because they did all the highlight package, right, Mark? And like, it makes you realize how crazy year one was of this company.
How many things could have possibly happened in that first year? Yeah,
how many people showed up? That's my thing.
Well, and even here in this episode, as we'll see too. Like,
totally
it doesn't
crazy.
slow down. It feels like a big show. It feels like a really big show.
The crowd is incredible on the show. The crowd, to me, the crowd was the MVP on the show,
except for one moment.
Okay, point that out when we get to it. They at one point they were beeped about something. I couldn't tell what they were trying to say, but we'll get to it. They were just such an intense crowd, complete full house. But I got some criticisms of this one. I got a couple of things that gnawed at me on this one, so I'm going to talk about those. Put over the good stuff. I got my franchise t-shirt on, which I got from Shane Douglas directly at an indie show years back. So he opens the show. We're going to start about in 1 second. We'll get off with that. But what's going on, everybody in the chat? Just want to say hello to all the people here. We got Paul Nelson, your nephew, J-Paul, is in the house.
Aloha, Paul.
Number one nephew.
Paul. There we go. Mir, Brian, Codebreaker, Acer. Who else is over here? Mark, you're here and here. Wow, interesting.
Yes, wow. What the? Yeah. Is that like Stang and Sting? Or?
Stang and Sting. Zach is here. Manos. Very nice. Shark Boy
Shark Boy.
Shark Boy's here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very nice.
Oh my gosh, Shark Boy this episode.
How about this? Maber X right here. Brand new listener found us yesterday during the breaking news, and he's here for the throwback. How about that? Maber, welcome, brother. Welcome. Nice to have you. So every Thursday we do a throwback show, the old TNA stuff. We talk about the Asylum days. Coincidentally, it's Sting's debut where we left off, number 50, which is crazy that it all worked out. My boy Adam Impact is here. Adam, look at that. That shirt's for you, pal. Look at that.
Also,
we got Armand's over here. Armand, who was dogging me bad on Twitter last night, Jay. When you see this, he was taking shots at me last night. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this guy last night.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. Look at that. Hakeem Forden. Fun facts. Shark Boy is the one who came up with the name Slamversary. And since Shark Boy's in the chat, can you confirm that? Lakers, what's up, man? He's here. Hakeem, very cool. All right, let's everybody keeps piling in here. But initial thought before we jump into review, initial reaction going into it. Now, Jay, you've been watching all of them with me. Mark, you've been watching all of these, right? Have you been following since number one, since we've been doing this?
No, I've been following since the first time I came on the show, which was in the 20s somewhere. Okay. So for about 25-ish episodes, and I've missed a few, but I always listen to the show. So obviously I keep up with what's going on.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So the 20.
I did.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I did miss half of the last episode. I only saw the first
49.
half.
49. Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. But you watched these when they aired too, right? Like you were watching them during the Wednesday days. Okay. So Jay, let me ask you, going into this, this is year one. You and I have done this for a year's worth of shows at this point. We've done 50 weeks of throwback. So it's pretty nuts, pretty intense. You and I pull this off for this long. But how do you feel going into? You said your first time watching this was all raw for you. You went in raw, J-Bone. This is you on prom night. You went in raw.
Appropriate terminology for this episode, too.
What are we talking about? The episode or okay?
Talking about your prom. No,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes to both, inclusive or.
Dear God, we're here for. We're here for all the smoke. So, okay, number one, catching up on the last episode that you and Bill did. Yeah, because I took a week off. Big mistake right there.
Taking the week off?
No. Oh. What they did? No, I needed that week off, anyways. But anyways, partway through the episode, they're like, "Oh, and Sting's gonna be here next week." Yes. What?
Yeah. It was like nudged in. It was like really just like nudged in there with a really basic graphic. Like Bill was so pissed at this. He's like, that's how you announced that Sting after a 2-year hiatus was coming in? Like, that was weird, man. It was strange.
Yeah, that was wonky as shit. I totally didn't get it. It was the lettering was like Sting.
Yeah.
Sting.
So underwhelming. It was like the old screensaver, the DVD.
Which led me to believe this. Now hear me out. My thought was it a last minute confirmation? And that's why on 49, maybe like I'm talking that day last week, they were like, okay, shit, he's going to be here. Put together a graphic, like last ditch effort, like last minute, like confirmation he's going to do it. And that's because they've done way more elaborate things. I mean, you're talking 2003, whatever.
Yeah. So I would have expected them to do something similar to what that other company did last night.
Well, I gotta be reasonable. There's certain limitations of time and money at the time, but just the way it was kind of squeezed in there that led me to believe it was a last minute confirmation the week prior. But
that seems possible. I mean, yeah, with how shoddy the whole thing was, kind of a really, really amateurish rollout for a company that's bigger than that at the time already.
Exactly, and like I said, they've done more elaborate video packages for lesser known talent. So that's why I know I trust JB enough because he's the one doing this. I trust enough in JB that I know he would not have made it so basic at the time. So I'm going to go with that. It's going to be my assumption going into it.
It just felt like they could have done something more ominous and more mysterious. Like like, ooh, somebody's coming in, and some kind of like blurry graphic in the background to give hints or something instead of just, oh, by the way.
Yeah. But anyway, let's kick it off, guys. This is NWA-TNA number 50. But wait, actually, before we kick it off, I always have to ask. Now, J-Bone, June 18th, 2003. Now, I was at Dave's house watching NWA-TNA number 50 on the couch, ordering food. This was a very electric night for us, year one of ordering all these on Wednesdays. And so, I was on Dave's couch. Now, where were you, J-Bone, on June 18th, 2003? What was J-Bone doing?
Well, let's see. It's June something. It's getting nicer out. I was probably barbecuing, day drinking, sharing a beer with the neighbor.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. Go ahead. I didn't mean to imply anything.
I was never that friendly with the neighbors. Well, maybe that one neighbor. Never mind.
You guys swing?
Oh, sorry, Jim. I didn't know what kind of neighbors you had. Yeah, my apologies. Go ahead.
Is there a pineapple out front?
Most of them were elderly, actually.
Yikes.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay too. Elderly need some love too.
Fat asses!
Right,
man, I love it. Can we get a Zach Morris? Because this is, we're already
off the rails. Zach Morris.
We haven't even started.
We have a request for Zach Morris.
The limo hasn't even shown up yet.
Yeah, this is horrible.
We've got off. This is all dude off. Okay, all right. Mark, June 18th, 2003. What part of the world were you in? Where were you at? What were you doing? Hanging and banging in the streets of Detroit. Where were you at this time?
No, I was here in Houston. I was destitute and broke, living with my wife, using a cloned satellite card to watch all of these episodes every Wednesday. So I know that I was sitting on my couch in the West Chase area of Houston, Texas, after working at the shitty law firm job I had at the time as a clerk. And I was probably drinking myself blind because I hated that job so much, watching TNA popping for Raven until I passed out and had to get up for work the next day. So that's where I was.
Specific.
So from now through the next, say, year, I know exactly where I was too.
So basically, until they go to Spike TV, or they go to Florida based Orlando, for Fox Sports, and then Spike later on. We know where you were.
Yeah, for the whole Asylum years, I was living in that apartment.
Oh shit!
2 years.
Oh.
So.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So the answer for you is pretty much going to be the same every time you're on.
Here's Mark every Wednesday. You get drunk, sitting on his couch. Raven! Pass out.
I just imagine Mark going,
pretty much.
That David Young's a motherfucker, man. That guy's great.
David Young was great.
He was great.
David Young was really good.
So underrated in how good that dude was. And he only gets better in the next couple weeks, honestly. But let's start off, guys. We kick off. We get a montage of year one to the some System of a Down music. If anybody caught that, it was some System of a Down basically playing there.
But, a really horrible System of the Down instrumental.
Yeah. But, so, hey, copyright free version. And us who are content creators know copyright free is the best kind of music, man, because you cannot get dinged for that. Great little montage to show you what year one was, which was an exciting year. I mean, honestly, it's fantastic. It's just mind-boggling how much they did in year one, which you don't see. It was very unexpected. A very nice, busy year. So that was kind of cool to see unfold in kind of like a 2-3 minute montage. We get the limo pull up. Very classic for this time period, guys. The limo, the pulling up in the back limo. Like this was, I swear to God, I felt like every Nitro and Raw at the time had the limo. The limo. Who's in the limo?
Even a big night on Thunder or Velocity, you might see a limo.
You see the limo. You get the limo. So they had the limo, white limo on this one. Tenay's saying it's got to be Sting. It's got to be Sting. But no, of all people who cuts out, it is the franchise. Franchise Shane Douglas. And he just he laughs and he just says, it's time to make some noise. And he walks in. That was it, franchise. Now, I'm a huge franchise fan. Huge fan of Shane Douglas. I listen to his podcast every week. I think next week, Jay will even try to get Chad, who's Shane Douglas's host, on for a few minutes. He wanted to come on when Shane finally started doing something on TNA.
All right.
But huge Shane Douglas guy. And I remember him. Check this out, Mark. You'll appreciate this. He was saying, because as we all know, his TNA run isn't like huge. It's just kind of a very, very basic run. He goes into the Spike era, or the Spike Orlando era, more as an interviewer at one point too. Well, and then he starts managing. But like, I remember him recently saying, can you imagine the guy who threw the NWA title down like 10 years prior? The story was built in for Shane Douglas to come here and just kick shit off. Like, it would have been perfect if you played off of the fact that he's like, this is the guy who degraded the title.
Yeah.
And I can't believe nothing ever happened out of that. He was like, I thought we were going to do something like that, but nothing ever materialized. How do you miss that boat? You know, you have the guy who threw the title down and you're back in the NWA on a nice stage and you don't deliver that. That sucks. Mark, I don't know, like
that's a huge missed opportunity, especially because we hadn't seen Douglas do anything prominent on TV in a while at this point too, right?
He had been off TV just about the same amount of time. Well, not counting like XPW and
yeah.
He had been off the same amount of time Sting was gone. You know, those 2 years. He left WCW and he toiled around with some XPW, some other stuff here in the 3PW on the East Coast. But that was it, man. Like, this was Shane's kind of return to TV at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Jay. I mean, huge missed opportunity, huh?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I'm just learning now that this is when Shane debuted, because when I started watching within the next year or so, year-ish, whenever the Spike, transfer happened, or FS1 / Spike transfer happened.
I guess we can just call it Orlando. You know, that's kind of what it's more known as.
From Tennessee to Orlando. The Impact Zone or TNA Zone or whatever. I don't know.
The Impact Zone's in your heart, J-Bo.
It is in your heart. It is your heart.
All right.
Impact Zone for life. I carry it with me.
I love it. Go ahead.
It's in one of my pockets. I got some lint or something.
Take it. Focus here, Jay. But we're trying to do something for God's sake.
Been all over the place today. That seems like that would be a gimme, but he just kind of came in and just kind of running roughshod, and I would have thought he would have come in and cut like a promo of sorts to, be like, oh, well, why is Shane here? Holy shit, to really shake things up. But no, he just kind of came in, didn't really say much.
Right.
Just started clotheslining bitches,
and he's a promo guy. He's a very prominent promo guy. That's what Shane Douglas does, is promos.
He stands out.
Yeah, and it's like he didn't do a promo.
Now I know him for shoots, but back in the day.
I love his podcast is great, by the way. It's the 3-man power trip on it's a great podcast. I think I highly recommend you guys check that out. He's great. He's got great stories. But we do that, we kick it off. The first match is I have complete. Now remember, I'm watching this live. I am psyched. The crowd is fucking on fire here. The first match, Mark, makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. And even Tenay, am I crazy? Or did Tenay kind of like hint at like, I know these teams just kind of don't make sense whatsoever, but the brilliance of Mike Tenay, he even goes into an explanation as to why the heel team is what it is. But so the first team is, the face team. First team is Sonny, Siaki, Don Harris, and David Young. So they're Sports Entertainment Extreme, but they're just like random members of sex, right? It's like you have one Harris brother. It's like, okay, we need you mean one Harris brother? Give me a David Young. Oh, you're in a storyline, but give me and Sonny Siaki, who's also in a storyline. Let's get you. And then against Kaz, D'Lo, and Sandman, and Tenay goes on to say that D'Lo and Sandman were so impressed with this youngster Kaz, they tapped him to be on the team. But okay, Mark, you're already nodding your head. Like, am I crazy, or was this like, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from?
No. I mean, I'll give big ups in this show later, but this first match was like, what? I didn't understand either why any of these people were. What the hell is that? What just happened?
Oh, I'm pouring some water.
Oh, okay. I just saw a big thing moving across.
It's a Brita. It's a Brita filter. I drink filtered water, Mark. 'Cause I'm a fancy bastard.
That is fancy. Jeez. I mean, I smoke decent flour, but that's as close as I can get.
Mark,
yeah, no. My bad. This match, man, I don't know. And Sandman wandering around on the outside, like not participating, and like
so weird.
The chaos. You know what? Kazarian looked good. It was cool. I saw him wrestle on Wednesday night too, so that was pretty sweet. Got to see
17 years later.
Yeah, and the man.
Yeah,
it looks fantastic today.
He is
like how far some of these guys have come,
dude.
In that many years is just, I mean, Kazarian is in even better shape, or looks to be even better shape now than he was back. And is, you can still this is like around the time he debuted. It's like been within a month or so of his debut. Because it was just a few reviews ago, I think, when he first appeared. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was recent. I know it was recent.
Little report from Pesh and our boy Bill. They landed in Las Vegas. They are landed safe in Las Vegas.
They are safe.
Very
All
nice,
right.
So
nice.
So, but yeah, weird team, right? But today it's like, I cannot imagine the Sandman going, "Hey, kid, you did good last week. You want to be on my team?" Like, it's just like the brilliance of Tanay. It'll be like, "Hey, look, we know you guys are questioning this team. I'm just gonna make something up here." And it was great. But Sandman, literally, like Adam's saying in the chat, he's literally on the outside the entire match, smoking, drinking. I mean, it's a party out there, Mark.
The only thing missing that he didn't do, because it wasn't around at that time, is he would have been taking selfies.
Yeah. There was no phone overindulgence of cell phoning at the time. But and again, I love that about these shows. Everybody's in the moment on these shows, man. There's no like just phones. People are just living in the moment on these shows, which I love.
Yeah. The unscripted crowd too is nice. I mean, there's like no filter on that crowd. It's a madhouse in there.
It's crazy, man, especially for year one. Kaz and Siaki killed it in this, though. I gotta say, Kaz and Siaki were absolutely killing it on this show, on this match. They were going all. It's the two younger ones, obviously, but I gotta give it to it. D'Lo's frog splash was fantastic. Like he turned sideways, mid splash, beautiful frog splash.
Beautiful.
Gets the win on this one. D'Lo makes the he gets
over his hell with the crowd.
Oh my god! People today. Like we just saw D'Lo get punched in the face by Ken Shamrock the other day on Impact. Like D'Lo Brown is much older. Too. It was a shoot. He took in the face bad, but it was awesome. The slow motion from Sami Callihan.
Oh my god, that's why I'm laughing so hard.
And a close up at that.
Oh my god!
When he hit and his face went.
It was like, bro. But
we love you, D'Lo.
People don't understand how over D'Lo Brown was, man. That dude was crazy over, like insanely over in Nashville. I mean, honestly, like, people today don't get like how popular D'Lo Brown was back then. So, super over. They win. They're doing a little beer celebration in the ring, kind of like celebrating the match. They get attacked by Sports Entertainment Extreme. This is where I have the biggest problem with this show. Is what follows here. They're celebrating sex jumps them, and casually as fuck, the guest of honor tonight, Sting, and Jeff Jarrett walk out and clean house in the opening match of the night. In the match where the participants had no beef or tie into the main, nothing to do with the main event. Nothing. That's it. They blew the load on Sting's pop in the opening match. I don't get that at all. Jay, let me start with you. I am mind boggled at how this happened. Like this killed me.
I wrote down sex scatters like a case of crabs.
Okay, that's great. I pay him for this, Mark. This is what happens. The stuff I pay this guy.
That's about on par with what I wrote down, which was surprisingly underwhelming entrance from Sting.
Exactly.
So that's very similar. But you know what? I'm turned off by the fact that he's walking out with Double J
Yes,
anyways,
me
because
too.
I'm like, if I'm to go back to watching this originally, which I still harbored some of that nostalgia and emotions,
Sure.
I hated Jeff. I hated him from WCW, right?
Right.
Like his run at the end of WCW was just dragging the company into the ground, and I hated it. And that carried over where he became a complete Super Jarrett monster here. So any alignment that's next to Jarrett, I love Sting. I mean, just like everybody else, he's one of my all-time favorites. I mean, this week was great. This was not it.
To blow the load of this, I mean, he has not been on TV in 2 years. You hyped up that this is the return of Sting, and this is how he starts out in the show. It's like, you didn't save it for even the top of the hour two. Like this match already was like weak in terms of names on paper, like in terms of like who was teamed up with who.
Sure.
Not that the match was bad, but it's like, that's what you use Sting here. I totally, absolutely did not get why this is happening here at all, man.
No lights out moment, nothing.
No, nothing.
Just hey, let's go down to the ring. What?
Yeah, and we're gonna get to this, Hakeem. The main event. I have a big problem with what happened there too. A huge problem with what happened there too. I can't wait. This was as much of a high as Sting goes in Impact later on when he comes back for the official return in 05, which I believe 05 or 05. Yeah, this was not it, man. But crazy. And we cut to West and TNA. Don West for Dave, since Dave is listening, black on black on this one. Don West is wearing black tie, black shirt. I really wish you were pointing these out from the beginning, Jay, because Dave's like, you got to start calling this out every week. The color on color that he's doing. So black on black this week. It's formal. It's like a tuxedo almost.
Yes.
Russo comes out next to that very same System of a Down music that started the show off, which was interesting that he came out to that. New haircut. Russo's looking fresh.
No, we can't. You're a man with a full head of hair. We can't call this a new haircut, Trent.
It's a coif.
We're gonna I called it a perm. I mean, that's a legit perm. It's like wavy and shiny. I'm like, damn.
But I'll tell you what, though. Costs more than either one of you scumbags make in a year. Just saying. So,
probably.
I mean, Russo let us know that this haircut was probably more than the entire combined Asylum had in revenue for that entire year. Russo was pretty foul coming out the box here.
That's why I called it a perm, because perms ain't cheap.
He said, he goes, you like my new hairstyle? He goes, it costs more than all of your trailers.
That's what it was.
And he went real heavy on the North versus South. It's always about North and South. It's always about, and which has always been a big thing for him was the North and South. There was a division even in the wrestling and all that too. He brings out AJ, new champion AJ Styles, he tells the fans that they turn on their own on AJ, and that AJ is better than Sean and Brett ever were. He tells AJ's shifting into heel here, and you can see a little bit of shakiness, but he's not doing terrible. He tells the fans to zip it, which, by the way, he started using that zip it line a lot after this. Like this became his line during his heel run. Zip it. A lot of people don't call that out on AJ Styles, but if you watch through the old stuff, he uses zip it a lot. It's like his line. But it was a long, at one point I caught AJ kind of just getting lost and kind of rambling a little bit too. Like he was trying to just figure out how to tie in the clothes. And at one point Russo does take the mic from him because, is it just me or does TNA just appear out of nowhere in the ring? I just turned around and TNA's standing in the ring.
I'm very pissed off today. He's just, I mean, he is mean mugging it. He's just
cue the angry TNA emote from Twitch, everybody. Cue the angry TNA.
He's pissed a lot in the early days.
He is. Mike TNA is not happy in the early days.
Well, Vince Russo is back. And the best Russo line, by the way, just to your point, was the North is about loyalty. I liked that a lot. That was a good one.
He was mean mugging. He was, it's classic today. but he's in there. So then they're going on. Tanae's asking him some. Actually, before even that, Tanae is in there. I like that AJ's insulting the people in the crowd. Goes, look at this guy. He dates his sister. I don't. He's like, he's like, and he's the other like cliches of like redneck cliches. He goes, I don't do that, But Tanae's like, you've been brainwashed by this son of a bitch, and very selective beeping on son of a bitch. Bitch was a very selective beep out on this show because certain other words made it through. Like they were beeping out bitch here and there, but an asshole would make it through. Like it was the beep button guy was just off again all day again. D'Lo comes out at this point to confront AJ because they were tagging. D'Lo questions why AJ's following Russo, and Russo's like, I made you to D'Lo. And they talk about their history in the WWF and how they both basically worked together to create D'Lo Brown and what he is today. And then Russo's like, but I'm going to do you a favor. He goes, I got a spot for you, D'Lo. You want to be stumped? I got a spot for you. I got a spot for you as my little bitch. D'Lo slaps him. Again, now this is where bitch got beeped out right there. Didn't get beeped out when Tenay said it. Got beeped out when Russo said it. Like, I don't know about the beep guy, but Raven made a random save here. Raven makes a save, cleans house. Franchise comes in, beats up Raven. Crowd goes nuts, starts chanting triple threat. And then red shirt security breaks it up. Big, heavy segment, guys. A lot going on here. A lot of stuff going on. So yeah, thoughts on the opening segment here. I thought it dragged a little bit, but give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree. I do agree too, though, that AJ is getting a lot better than, at the beginning. We remember how green AJ was on the mic.
Oh yeah.
The heel turn helps a lot. He's not, being a face is more of a hokey type of gimmick anyways. So this is letting him be a little more serious and, I don't know, kind of speak from the hip, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, long segment. We didn't get a Pittsburgh plunge, did we? We just got some clotheslines, right? So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really about the whole first half of the show, to be honest. I liked the back half of the show a lot more once we start getting into some of the backstage segments.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of chaotic. And, you mentioned the Sting thing maybe being last minute. Maybe that's how the run-in got booked too. And even that opening match. Because the whole thing doesn't seem, it has a pay-per-view feel, right? We got a lot of pyro, we got a big hot crowd.
New set. There's a new set too.
Yeah, new set. But the first half of the show seems not well put together.
Yeah, it seemed you're very patchy. Even like that, even this run. I mean, Shane Douglas is essentially his he ran in last week too, but he just runs in and takes Raven down, doesn't even take the mic. He's a mic guy.
Yeah.
Like it felt very, you're right. This first half was just like very just randomly put together. I'm like, man, what's going on here? To me, the crowd though, Jay, is what's almost saving it because their enthusiasm, it's like, it's infectious. And I'm like, man, this is a lot of fun. These people are really having a blast watching all this happen. So
yeah,
like
they're popping for the new faces, but they also don't know how to receive Sting. You could tell they're excited about it, but I'll put it this way. This was not as big of a pop as when D'Lo Brown showed up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all the psychology of how they did this. Number one, you announced this the week before, so there was no surprise, really.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you brought him out with a guy that you have trained the audience to hate again.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's like, it's Sting, but he came out with that motherfucker Jeff Jarrett. It's like, how are you supposed to get excited about that? Like, they've flip-flopped Jarrett so many times within the last 6-month period between super mega baby face to all of a sudden next week, depending on who he's facing off with in a promo or in the ring. Now all of a sudden he's super mega heel.
Yeah, you kind of don't know where to put him at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you classify as a fan? And that's like Mark, you were saying,
they know where to put him, top of the card. They just don't know how to put him there. They just don't know how to make him fit there right now.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's like you were turned off by that, and it's like true. If I'm a fan who's going to these shows, I don't know what to make of him. He's been flip flopping so often. It's like, where does he fall in here? And it's like, and of course, you knew they were gonna let him get the sting rub, but it was like, damn. Come on, man. Come on, man.
We need come on. You know what? We had all these sound bites rolling early on. That's true. And then we got into the review, and we've been on track for a good 30 minutes.
I mean, we normally don't do sound bites on this, but we'll do the come on, man.
Come on, man.
It's usually a pretty stripped down show.
I told Kyle that I want every variation of Come On Man come inauguration in January. Like, I want every version of Come On Man to be here, so I can play like one week's like the flagship show on Tuesday is gonna just have every Come On Man I play it throughout the 2 hours.
We could do a pool on the Patreon for how many are in the inauguration speech and do squares.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
The only one I want to see is if somebody accidentally drops the Bible, he's going to like swear in on it. It drops the Bible in front of Biden, and Biden goes, "Come on, man.
Come on, man." I would love that.
We're going to pop so hard if he actually says it.
Oh, my God. If he said it, that would help feel it. Or if he just says this.
How did you do that?
No, that's more the reaction of the guy that lost.
Let's keep moving along here, boys. Right. Yeah, they kick it to Goldie in the back with Veronica, and Nurse Veronica and Tracy Brooks, my favorite knockdown. The girls are now calling themselves Bitch Slap officially, and
which also got censored.
Which got censored.
Bleep slap.
Yep. Bitch Slap got censored.
Yep.
They said the NWA told them they cannot no longer fight men, and that they're sexist. So they're going to show everybody what they're all about. Continuous camera here. Watts comes in to the shot and asks Goldilocks if she handled what he asked her to, and she's like, "No, no, I haven't. Leave me alone." She's all nervous, panicky, and she's like, "He's like, well, what are you going to do?" She's like, "I'm going to go interview Kid Cash like I'm supposed to." He's like, "Over my dead body." So they're still teasing this like Goldilocks, the love affair, Eric Watts.
So awkward.
It's getting to a point where like we're not really knowing what's happening. Like we don't really have any direction at all.
Neither did Goldie. It's cool.
Yeah, she told us it was like she was getting it week to week on what to do here. So fair enough. We kick over to Julio De Niro and Alexis Lurie, who was Mickey James, outside, upset because like the Raven's gonna be pissed. They weren't there when he got beat down. He's gonna hate us. And then J-Bone, your boy, comes up. CM Punk walks up here, and he's like, "Have you guys talked to Raven about me joining the Gathering?" And they're like, "There's gonna be." He goes, the exact line from Julio De Niro is, "We're within a butthole's whisker of there being no gathering."
I wrote it down too. I wrote it down too.
I've never, and Mark, you're in the South. Is this a term you've ever heard?
Never in my life. Never, ever, ever. This is also the point I do want to interject where my wife walked through the room and goes, "Double nipple rings on that dude."
Wait, did she do that as an awkward or was she turned on by it?
No, she was like,
was she like,
"Oh, okay,
yeah. double nipple ring"?
Because some chicks dig that shit.
Yeah. And
some do.
Mrs.
Mark does not.
Now you know what I don't have.
Yes, exactly. He does have a treehouse, though. All right, let's see.
Anything from here on down, I'm not going to guess.
No, we're not going to guess. Absolutely not.
All right, fair enough.
His name is not Prince Albert. Anyway, we're going to go on here. He talks. J-Bo, I don't even want to know what you did in the 90s. I really don't want to know what happened in the 90s. With
he doesn't remember anyway.
He doesn't remember at all. He does remember. But Pepperidge Farm definitely remembers this.
Jiminy Christmas.
Remember that, J-Bone, right there. That's right. Pepperidge Farm remembers that one, my friend.
That J-Bone was on fire. I think.
CM Punk does his pitch basically and gives the Braven arms, nevermore, walks out. So petition to be now they at this time, Punk and Raven were doing a simultaneous storyline in Ring of Honor where they were against each other. It might have been a little bit after this, where it was Punk was like saying to Raven, "You remind me of my drunk father, you drug addict piece of shit." They were doing that line. That feud on that and the other side of things. So it was an interesting dynamic. They were working together a lot around this time, which is very cool that they had a lot of dynamic going on. We go to New Jack with Goldie right here. And this was great. This was great. This whole thing, Mark, was fantastic.
I was rolling. I sent Davo a picture. I had to screen cap. There's a shot where Goldie's just looking straight, and Shark Boy's got the double Hulk hands up. This whole thing, New Jack. I want to stick my fingers in your eyes and rip your heart out. And then Goldie looks, and I'm making the same face Goldie's making.
He's hyping up the Hard 10 semifinal against Mike Sanders. Shit doesn't get bleeped here. The word shit it gets through. But my God, this whole thing was just like Shark Boy interrupts. And I'll never forget the damn it, Shark, I ain't got time for this shit right now. But Shark Boy just kind of hands behind his back, and then he's like, "What do you got?" There it is. That's a great photo. I need that sent. I'm gonna tweet that out to Goldie.
I'll send it.
Oh
to you.
my God, that's so good.
See, Mark sent that to me early this morning. He goes, "Hey, I got your cover for you," and I was like, "Oh dear God."
Oh, that's so good.
So this was almost legit the cover and then Trent was like, "Hey, make sure you put Sting," and I was like,
"It has to be Sting."
Yeah,
you had to do Sting.
Yeah, no doubt.
But this whole thing was just hilarious.
So good.
He busts out the Hulk hands, which at the time you go thinking back, man, they were really popular in 03. I forgot how long ago those things were like the shit.
Yeah.
And
I played that little game with the white woman.
He's like, "Goddamn, Shark, I done played your damn games, Twister. That game with a white woman. I beat you. I'm gonna whoop your ass." He goes, he says
I forgot how funny New Jack was.
Oh my God, he's like, "I'm gonna whoop everyone." He's like, "All right, give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna whoop Sanders' ass. I'm gonna come back and whoop your ass too." And he's like, he was just so on fire. Yeah, the line you said, Mark, the fingers in your eyes. God. Everything was just amazing.
You could have written down every single thing he was saying. It was just gold, all of it. I sometimes do forget, my memories of New Jack are largely him almost murdering people in ECW. You forget, what a good, funny promo this guy was.
So entertaining.
Oh my gosh.
So entertaining.
Underrated promo.
I mean, he definitely he was known for being scary, but man, I could turn up the humor too. Real funny. We get the continuous camera. I'm a huge fan of continuous camera. That whole segment ends. The continuous camera comes in. Kid. Now let's also note from that picture. Also, we saw Jay. They're standing in front of that gated door that Abyss had come out of and debuted out of. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Last week.
Yeah.
Kid Cash walks in to the shot and he's like, "Hey," it's like, "Scary dude. Hey, scary dude. Did you get my note and the cookies I left? Hey, just want to thank you for watching my back, scary dude." And he's like, "I need your help again if you're cool." And you see something get thrown at the gate. He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "I'll take that as a yes." He just walks out. So the implication of Abyss is in there and he lives in the gallows there.
But he's not called anything yet. They didn't
not yet.
They didn't address him by name. They were just "Oh my God, who is this masked man?"
We were shocked when we literally talked about how Abyss gets put in as the TNA original year one or show one type of guy. Technically, I mean, he was on show one as a different character, but then he was gone. And then he comes back on 49. He doesn't come until essentially year 2 is when Abyss actually came in.
At the end of year 1, yeah.
Right. The guy who was there from day one was James Storm. He's the one guy who was there all the way through until he left.
Wow, yeah.
Now, Abyss might have had him on a year or maybe 2 years further on the back end, but to me, Storm is the true TNA original because of
he's
that.
Still around. He's still around.
He's still in the mix. He's on TV this year.
I wonder if we're gonna see. I wonder if we're gonna see James Storm again. What turning point?
Turning point. Yeah,
right?
Turning point with Sabin. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's an open door, right, with James Storm. Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see him under a full contract again because you could see the dynamic. It's like, where does he truly fall with that really young roster right now?
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, you've got some veterans there, but do you need another?
Do you need a James Storm right now? Unless like a Bobby Roode is coming back, does James Storm fit in right now? He's good. He's good to come in and compliment some stuff like he did this time. This was a perfect little run.
That was a great match. Yeah, that was a great match with Sabin.
Totally fun.
Yeah, and he didn't stink up the joint either. That's
part of it.
He didn't come in and be like, oh, it was great to see him back, but it was so much better when none of us said that.
Yeah, no, he looked fantastic. I mean, he looks better now than he ever did. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah, he's in great shape.
We go to the Hard 10 semifinal. It's New Jack and Mike Sanders. Not a long match. probably one of the better Hard 10 matches too. But Shark Boy's out there cheering him on with the Hulk hands. Yeah, God damn it! Just all.
I can turn it on anytime, Pat. Come on, no problem.
Who's yelling? Come on, we gotta go in the background on that clip. I can't figure out who that is.
It almost sounds like Bravo.
It sounds like Bravo. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love mid-match, just towards the end. He's looking at the crowd. The crowd's just going batshit crazy for New Jack because Shark Boy hands him the fist, like he wants him to take him out with the fist. So he puts a fist on and he does a pose in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, well, he starts hulking up, right? He starts doing like, he starts doing like the Hulk Hogan stuff and all that. It was great.
I liked this a lot.
It was just trying to attract all the white women.
I mean, yeah, this was funny stuff. I liked it a lot.
Well, the finish, even he gives one of the Hulk hand, the Jack and Jack just knocks Mike Sanders through the table with the Hulk. This 5 points, he wins.
Yeah, best Hard 10 match so far.
Oh yeah, we go to a Trinity video profile, kind of a break. Now you can see they were really pushing Trinity here, like. Which shocks me again that they never won with the X Division title when they could have on her, which they totally should have here. Is that Pat Kenny? Okay, cool. Thanks, Adam. That was Pat Kenny. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Nice. No, dude, it was pretty cool to see. It shocked me that they didn't get more out of Trinity. I loved it. I thought this was it was so 2003, but man, I just had such a thing for Trinity at the time. So I'm all in on this.
I don't remember this little bit, but it was kind of awkward.
It was super awkward.
What's going on here?
Is this one of the ones that Goldilocks was talking about in her interview with us? Where they went down to the beach and
I think that beach part of that photo shoot is part of what she was at. They just used the Trinity clips for this. Okay. I think it was all filmed at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was all filmed in that same shoot, but because they only showed a little bit of the beach stuff, right back to her like in the car, super cheesy, but like again, very 2003, which is the classic part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Like AJ's entrance video.
Yeah. We go from that right to Jerry Lynn and Just Incredible. It was an intense match, but short as fuck. I thought this was super short. For what this is. I know they're continuing
like 2 minutes.
Not even, right? Yeah, maybe 2 minutes. Justin cheats to win. Andrew Thomas misses it. They brawl a little bit after, but I mean, obviously it's not over, but still.
Well, the scene in the crowd was longer than in the ring.
Yeah, exactly. What are you saying, Jay?
Andrew Thomas misses it while looking right at him.
Exactly.
There's a bunch of sign language, like
I'm like, you couldn't even act like you were trying to check on the other guy. Like you're looking right at
this. I think this is when I chatted you, Jay, or texted you. I was like, what about the calls? Like, God, this was horrible.
Like he didn't even try. Like, I get it. These guys were young referees at the time, but my God, like if you didn't get chewed out for this, I mean, shit, like somebody should have chewed your ass out for this one because that was such a failure of enforcing the rule. But no, it was quick. The feud's obviously continuing. Like, this is not over at all. So
it really brawled. I mean, you couldn't tell where the crowd ended or security started because they were using a bunch of young kids. Looked like, local wrestlers or something. Yeah. But man, I mean, it was close. There were people stuck in the middle and everything. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The next segment
was too long.
Yeah. The next segment was funny as shit. They kick it to. They said Mike TNA's got to sit down with Ron Killings and Conan. So it's still not called 3 Live Crew here, by the way.
I wrote down 3 Live Crew because this is basically the inception of 3 Live Crew.
Basically,
yeah. You can tell they were all high as shit here.
Oh, they were out of it. These
Conan. I got a little smoke in my pocket.
Eddie, let me ask you guys this. The way they're sitting, the three of them, this is the precursor to the Treehouse. This literally was like the original Rascals right here is what this was.
Oh, no shit.
I could see it.
This was Asylum Days Rascals is what this was. They were sitting same type position, jokey. I mean, you didn't have the laugh track. It's about it. This was like, this was the Rascals for the Rascals, man.
That's a great observation. I mean, and BG James, man, half the stuff he was saying.
Talk about it.
Dude.
You couldn't even understand. Like, he would start talking about something and then totally mumble off and what?
He's like,
whoa, you are smoking that next level shit, bro.
Well, he's like, Conan, you invented the plancha move. He was purposely doing it, right? But he's talking to Ron Killings. Like, Ron, we're like that big question we wanted to ask. One of his things is what is you people's infatuation with fried chicken? And he's like, well, you got the chicken. You better. What the hell you mean? God damn it! The fried chicken. What the hell? You eat fried chicken, don't you? And he's like,
it's about you. It's not about me.
Man,
so fucking funny, man. He's like, well, your mama. And then he's just like, I was laughing so hard at this.
And he turns and looks at Conan, and he's talking about, in your time down south of the border, and you faced the Latin lover. What?
You faced the Latin lover for shizzle, nizzle, gizzle.
Well, and it looked like BG James is trying not to laugh when he's talking to Conan, too, because Conan's giving him a look like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you?
Killing me here.
Yeah, it was like Jimmy Fallon when he was on SNL, like just trying not to laugh. I think BG James is blown out here.
Dude, he was they were having a blast. And these three
he's not the only one. We'll get to that.
These guys today even are such good friends. That's what I love. Killings was on Keeping It 100 with Conan, and they were just talking about 3 Live Crew TNA days, and it was such a blast. But they were having such a fun time. They're all three really, really close friends to this day. And this is just like, this reminded me of when I'm with my friends breaking balls. Like, you just make little cultural jokes with each other, and like you just fuck with each other. You just break each other's balls. That's what this was, and it was just such a funny little segment. But he asked Conan about the Taco Bell dog. Like, these are very dated references for the time, like the Taco Bell, the Yokiro Taco Bell dog. Like, he's asking
Conan's just.
Dude, Conan's face was cracking me up because it was mirroring my own. Like, some of the comments in this segment, like watching it. Hey, it's Kevin. Hey,
Kevin Martin, how you doing, man? You've had a busy night, Kevin Martin. I cannot even begin to speculate how much work on video Kevin and his team are doing right now. So
I heard they called him in at 3 a.m. and said, hey, you got to bring ImpactWrestling.com back up. We just crashed them.
Yeah, no shit. So Kevin, hang out for a minute. Tell us about what happened last night. But no, this was great. And then Mark, your favorite line. Conan's like, enough of this. He had a little something in his pocket, right?
Yeah, I got a little smoke in my pocket. I was like, yeah, me too, Conan.
And then BG was like, BG, we gotta call. We can't talk about this.
We gotta
go. This is such a wild segment to watch now. Again, because the lens has changed so much, right?
Oh yeah,
like. There were parts where I could feel my butthole clenching up, like things that BG James was saying.
Oh my God.
But you have to remember, like, the world in 2003 was just different. It was such a different product that you were putting on television. And the product you were competing with was very similar to this product as well. Like, it wasn't like this was so far outside the norm that was being set forth on television at the time, so it's easy to look back on and criticize it, which I can take that approach too, but at the same time, totally different world 17 years later.
Also, yes, and also I also look at the players involved too in this. Like, these three, literally, like, Killings was on Conan's podcast having the same kind of ball breaking session like now, you know what I mean? So it's like, when it's among, these guys just wrote this themselves, like, we're gonna do this, we'll take it.
I don't think this was a written segment. I don't think there was any writing
that's what
for this
I'm saying,
segment at all. This was just them doing it.
Kevin's confirming that yesterday was pretty okay, nothing crazy. But no, yeah, you're right. These segments today definitely would not fly. People would lose their
Never.
shit.
Never.
Unfortunately, people would lose their mind nowadays. But whatever. It was just funny. Definitely a funny segment, though. We get a random appearance from Kenzo Suzuki, who unannounced. Former New Japan guy, wrestling for a different, smaller promotion at this point in Japan. Tane's doing the tail of the take on this one. Tail of the tape, I should say, on who he is. And I'm not familiar. Is he still wrestling? Anybody know Kenzo Suzuki? Is he still doing anything in the business? I have no idea who he is, or
I have no idea, but less than a year later, he was with the WWE. So
he was. Interesting. When?
Yeah, I looked up his Wikipedia because I thought it was someone that maybe had passed away recently, but it was someone else from back then. And I'm just not familiar with many, New Japan or all the different Japanese companies from 20-ish years ago. I'm just not familiar with them, as some are. But I gotta say, I was impressed with this guy. I don't remember what he did in the WWE. He didn't last long, but I looked and he was on TV for like a year or two.
Looked like 2 years. I'm looking at it right now. He had an okay, little thing with Cena and Booker, and he had a decent little run. It wasn't terrible at all by any means. So
yeah, I was impressed with him here. He did some like big guy moves.
Yeah, he went as Suzuki. Yeah, interesting. Real short match. They squashed this. This was a nothing.
Man, Saturn, for such a short match, Saturn missed a lot of spots here. Like, it was off. It was pretty sloppy on Saturn's side, and I've seen Saturn at the top of his game, and this has got to be towards the very back end of his career, maybe, unfortunately, because he's starting to look rough in the ring. Like, the last 2 episodes ago, he looked great.
He looked fantastic, yeah.
But now, all of a sudden, like, go back, watch this match back. Everything from Saturn looked off. Everything. Maybe it was they'd never worked together before, or I don't know.
That could be part of it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I also caught this too. I don't know if you guys caught this. At the end, so when Justin Credible runs in and he canes Saturn like out of nowhere. Like, it's even today, it's like, what? I thought they were friends. Like, what the hell happened here? He canes Saturn. Yeah. Jerry makes a save. Saturn did not look happy after. Like, I'm not talking like play up wrestling happy. He looked like he got hit when he didn't want to get hit, and he looked like he just didn't want to work this match in general. I felt like you said, Mark, this match just did not have chemistry with him, and I felt like he was not in the he didn't even seem like he was in his normal gear in this match. Like, it was all seems like it was last minute.
Well, you didn't even see any of his normal moveset either. It just didn't look like a Saturn match at all. The elbow was like the only Saturn looking thing out there.
It's true. And I was like, I was shocked. I was like, what are we doing here? This is such a weird. I guarantee. I bet they had Suzuki come in, and they're like, "Shit, we need someone to work with him." Perry, you got your gear. Like, you want to work this match? Throw you some money. Like, I felt like it was so thrown together.
Yeah.
Because he just did not look into it.
Maybe because Saturn was they mentioned he was still active in New Japan at the time. Maybe they were looking for like a short strong style match, and they just got
could be
this mess instead. I don't know, man. This was
it was weird
time. Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, it did nothing for me on this one, but
like the stuff that Kenzo Suzuki did. It was Someone in the chat here says it looked stiff. Yeah, it looked like he was really like mowing him down. So maybe that was part of it too. Like he was, working him too stiff, and Saturn maybe didn't appreciate that because Saturn's been around.
It seemed like that. Maybe. It seemed like something was a little off here. Like they were just not happy.
You should just use that word that you like to use once in a while that I stole.
A little wonky. A little wonky.
I used that word as well. It was the whole thing from bell to bell. The whole thing was wonky.
Totally wonky. We go to Goldie back there with AJ, and she's like, "Look, I got a hard time swallowing what you did, last week."
Oh, this segment.
Oh,
and
Trent, you're solo on this one.
I knew where this was going the second she said it, and he's like, "Oh, really? That's not what I heard, Goldie. I didn't hear you had a hard time swallowing anything." I was like, I knew that's what was coming.
You saw it a mile away. All these guys for a year. This is a year now. Have just been so brutal. It's like and the year anniversary. Nope, nothing changed.
Goldie gets no respect.
No, she doesn't. It's classic eye roll. And she takes it on the chin, and
I see what she did.
By the way,
that was no. Oh, damn, sir.
But Jesus Christ, J-Bo. Jesus Christ.
Shame on you, J-Bo.
As soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like,
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Unbelievable, J-Bo. What are you doing, J-Bo?
You've stepped over the line now. You've taken it too far.
That's for sure.
This is horrible.
I just looked at Suzuki real quick. He's a former tag team champion up north there. He was a former tag team champion with Rene Dupree. I'm like, go figure that, huh?
Oh, that's weird.
Very weird.
I don't remember that. I remember Rene Dupree. I don't. Okay, just refresh my memory. What was he called up north?
That's what it was.
Because then it'll come back to me.
Oh, he was just Suzuki. Yeah, that's what he was, man. So yeah, I don't know, man. That's a lost year or something.
Yeah.
Like I know I probably put him in one of my wrestling games, but it would have been real brief because
come on, man. So then he just kind of hypes what's going on later on. So just some AJ for you. Triple X and AMW. This is the Asylum Alliance Finals, which again another pointless tournament to me because it led to nothing.
You did miss the spot where Eric Watts walks in, right? And refers to himself as Mr. Explosion.
Mr. Explode. I thought I had that down. Let me see where I thought I put that down here.
It's another continuous cam where he just comes in as AJ walks off. Watts walks in from offset on the other side.
That's what it was. I thought I had that down here. I could have sworn because I remember writing the words "explosion" on my notes.
He opens with "It's me, Mr. Explosion," and I popped. I was like, "Yeah, Mr. Explosion." I was like, "No, you're not. That's Nate Bach, fucker."
Nate Bach hasn't been around enough. I think we're gonna give that title away.
It's Mims. It's Mims.
It's Mims for sure. I'm looking. I could have sworn I wrote that down, but you're right that he did do that. The continuous cam. Was it right after this?
Yeah, directly. Like led right into this.
Okay. So that was Mr. Explosion, and he says he's gonna what did he declares he's gonna do something though later on, like he's gonna take care of something, or Mr. Explosion's here to handle his business or something like that. So just a continuous cam, which I do like. They're using it for Eric Watts a lot. I do like that. That's his thing. Like he kind of runs in on a continuous camera. Like he's been doing that.
Yeah, that kind of thing
for a few months now.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, so this Asylum Alliance, I have because the whole thing was supposed to be like weird teams initially. Remember, Jay? Like they teamed up weird people, and they were teasing the AMW breakup. They got back together. It literally just led to a finals of two teams who had already been feuding, the Triple X and AMW, which was, don't get me wrong, one of the best feuds in TNA Impact history, though.
Oh, sure.
I guess it was a way to just stretch out the feud a little bit, kind of just drag it to the 1 year, maybe.
Well, and it shows depth in the tag division.
Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, this is year one. they're experimenting with a lot of stuff. Some of it is, hey, let's try this, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks.
Yeah, true. That is a part of it.
And some of it did come off really awkward and weird, especially when you did the whole, okay, Harris brothers hate Ron Killings. Killings isn't even out there, and blah, 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 blah. And that whole, storyline, that was a fail in my book, because that came off as, especially when we were talking about that awkward interrogators with the Harris brothers that got cut out of the current Impact Plus site.
Yeah.
It's like just knowing that bad blood that was there, just
yeah, that there was that for sure.
Someone in the chat was talking about racism. No, that was racism. Okay, the stuff with 3 Live Crew was all just friendly jabbing at each other. It wasn't meant to be hurtful at all. They were all just effing with each other,
Yeah, the Harris stuff was real heavy. That it got cut out.
What episode was it supposed to be in originally? The Harris Brothers promo?
That's a good question. I want to say, Jay, maybe 38, 39. Who found that clip for us, by the way? They would know.
Adam?
That was
it Adam?
Adam or Millard or Gary. It's one of our regulars found it for us.
Yeah, definitely a regular. Somebody regular.
Whoever's in the chat who found that clip that edited Harris Brothers. Let us know what episode that was from. I think I don't know if we even noted it in our notes, so I couldn't even search for it. But yeah, if you have it, just let us know what episode number that was. But this was, we start the match with, they show Triple X. I keep on saying Triple XL, but I'm like always about to slip to say Triple XL. Because we do have a Triple XL now at Impact, but
close but different. No,
yes,
really.
Yeah,
they're shown beating AMW down the back, taking him out. He's like, "What the hell is going to happen now?" And then again, I love the continuous cam. They beat him down, and the camera just follows them out. Like they go to the ring. Low Key leads them out, holding the belts. Low Key's injured at this point, which we knew about.
I didn't remember what was going on with Low Key.
Yeah, they alluded that he got injured in Japan, right, J-Bone, on a Japanese tour, and his shoulder's all fucked up.
Yeah, and this is at a time when either 1 or 2 out of the 3 were doing regular monthly tours to Japan. So yeah, it sounds legit. It's really no surprise.
Okay.
Because from day one, these guys were out there kicking ass. Then all of a sudden, a couple tapings later, Elix Skipper is here, but his compadres are overseas and they're 2 months in Japan, or they would say something like that.
Look at this. Look at it. Rex. Jesus. Okay, it's Rex. My God.
Rex found it.
We got it. We get it.
Rex found it.
Rex found it. Thank you, Rex.
Sorry, Rex. I will write that down.
Thank you. Mark, write that down. Rex, what number episode was that too? That's why I want to know what they cut it out of. But this so A&W comes out. First Daniels gets on the mic and he's pushing the sports entertainment aspect. Says he's leaving for Japan in a couple weeks, but everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna just keep pushing the sports entertainment agenda. AMW come out and the brawl is on. This match was fucking amazing, man. This was just absolute hellfire, man. The crowd is bananas here right now, Mark. They're losing their mind.
Everybody looked good in this match too, man.
So
good. Said it before on the show. Not a huge AMW guy, but as I'm rewatching this time, I am appreciating their in-ring a whole lot more,
man.
Because back in the day, I was hung up on the gimmicks more, than the in-ring stuff. Like work, like I didn't even know what work rate meant at the time. But now watching again, and especially you've got Daniels and Skipper. I mean, all 4 of these guys can go.
Dude,
fantastic.
The timing on this match, man, everything was just so intense. And the false finishes, fuck, man. Like at one point where I thought the win was going to happen for AMW, even 17 years later, who've seen this match, I literally I'm watching, I'm going, son of a bitch, man. Like I literally reacted because they got me. They fucking got me. That's how good this match was.
It was.
And I cannot listen. They got me on this too. There was a belt shot. And Triple X retained the title, which I think was a mistake. On year one, man, that crowd is hot for AMW to take it though. What do you think?
Man.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I like Triple X a lot.
Great heat.
You know what?
Heat.
Like Freebird teams are the best teams. Honestly, it just there's so much diversity. You get so much different stuff. The storyline possibilities are so deep. Man, I like it on these guys a lot. You know, we know what they would all go on to become. Not that that Storm and Harris are like scrubs or anything. But,
right.
You know, man, Daniels still. I watched a Daniels match earlier this year. You know, like the talent in this ring. Not to take anything away from anyone. Chris Harris, I will say, surprised me the most in terms of, or he has been surprising me the most in terms of what I've remembered. In my mind, Storm is like the big of the two. He's the star, Storm. But if you go back and you watch the work in the ring, Harris looks really good.
It's really why he was the breakout. I mean, when he was on the show with us, I mean, we knew that he was Jay. He was going to be. They were all set to put that belt on him at one point, and he was very. And it was a last minute change. Like they believed in him. He was it's funny how he was the chosen breakout, but Storm ended up kind of taking that on. Longevity too. Storm stayed in a little longer too, but Storm really morphed himself into a big star after that. But man, you could see why Chris Harris was the guy, you know, and so good.
Yeah.
But the match was just such absolute fire. This is on the first year one. I'd put this on the best of, huh, Jay? All the match. We've seen some great tag matches in year one, but this has to be on the best of, yeah.
Well, and I'd say the feud,
the whole feud, yeah. Oh yeah, and it continues.
The feud, yeah. It's hard to pick a match, and this was good, but man, anytime they were in a ring, it just man, they clicked, man. They told a freaking story. Even low key banged up was able to, screw them.
The feud continues so much so that, as we all know, the following year is the infamous cage walk. So this feud is not over. I mean, a year later, you're getting the cage walk. Year and a half almost at this point.
Props to Harris for taking that, since we always talk about Skipper delivering.
True.
Props to you, Chris Harris.
Absolutely. Props to Chris Harris taking that. Yeah. We talked about that with him at the archive. If anybody new listening to us, we had Chris Harris on the show, and probably my favorite interview that we've done.
As a listener, it was my favorite too.
Yeah, it was so much fun, man. He was such a nice guy, so open. Like he didn't hold anything back. He was so open about everything we asked him, and he talks about the cage walk, and he's like, "Man, we were all fucking nervous. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen here?"
Oh yeah.
Hey, we're still talking about it.
True. I mean, it's in every highlight reel that Impact puts out.
So that's not to cover spoilers, because I don't like spoilers.
17 years ago, J-Bone, we're good.
This is a long time ago, J-Bone. I don't know if you're spoiling anything here.
But I'm still watching as a new fan. I'm just kidding. But
that's true.
They announced that next week they're going to face him again in a cage, and I thought for a split second, I was like, "Hey, wait, is that the infamous match?"
No.
And then I'm like, "No, wait, no, that was 6 sides, so no, that can't be yet." No.
Yeah. TNA also does note that it's the first cage match in TNA history coming up, which is interesting little factoid.
That's exciting. I'm excited for next week.
Me too, man. Me too. We get TNA with Jerry Jarrett, random at this point. Talks us NWA history, year one. Russo and Jeff's friendship. So just a little something just to feed year one a little bit. Jerry really complimentary to TNA, which 100% deserved. Watts in the ring, and he goes, "Enough of that boring interview." This is where he calls himself Mr. Explosion Mark. I knew I had it written down. Yeah,
I screwed it up.
Yeah,
my bad. I wrote it wrong.
I knew I wrote down explosion somewhere on my notes, and this is where it was.
My apologies.
Yeah, because he's like, "Enough of that boring interview. This time for Mr. Explosion." So,
you're right.
It would have made sense while he was with Goldie, but
either way, Eric Watts is Mr. Explosion, or original Mr. Explosion.
The original Mr. Explosion. He talks about first Eric, his buddy Eric, coming up to take care of the place. You know, they're teasing Eric Bischoff at this point. And then he calls out that mighty midget Kid Cash. Cash comes out, and they're oh man, he's towering over him. Makes a lot of short jokes. He's like, "I'm gonna look you right in the eye." And goes, "Wait a minute." Gets on his knees. He goes, "I'm gonna look you right in the eye." I was like, that was fucking cold. That was cold, man.
Damn. I like this.
as a guy who's the same height as Kid Cash, that was cool. That one hurt.
Man, I really, really liked this stuff from Watts. This was good.
Watts was good, man. It's so funny. He just came up my recommended Facebook friends today of all dates, and I clicked on his profile. I was like, oh, what's he up to? And he's like super dad. Super dad. Like, he loves his kids, man. If you ever want to destroy the image of Eric Watts that of year one had of that total prick, the guy's like the greatest dad ever, by the way. So still killing it. Just kind of, I think it looks like he takes a few indies here and there, but he's just chilling, man. I don't know what he does for a living, but he looks good, he's still healthy. So Eric Watts still out there.
Mr. Explosion.
Mr. Explosion. I would love to get him on Explosion. That'd be great.
Oh man. You should reach out. Go find him.
We should. You know what?
Go find him.
We need to clip the video of that, and put it on the TNI timeline, and then hashtag Explosion. Be like the original Mr. Explosion. We gotta get video of this kind of stuff. I get that. Hakeem, I'm looking at you, pal. You've been good with the screenshots. I need you to get this video shot here.
We need to see those original explosions.
That's what I want on the.
Well, when are we gonna get all those though?
They're like, digitize them, put them. There's so many gems on the early explosions. It's fucking mind-boggling.
They gotta cook the tapes.
AJ versus Joe on Explosion. What the hell?
Like shit,
that's
like
out there
that
somewhere. Like, that's nuts.
Like, there's just Chris Hero matches and so, like, you name it, man. There's tons of stuff on Explosion. But no, he's dogging Cash bad, and he goes, this is like right where it's up front, and he goes, "What's with you beating women?" And he's like, Cash is like, everyone around here knows that Kid Cash beats women. Like, it's so up, like, it's just so right there. Like, I beat women, I abuse women. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And he goes, but the clincher line was, he goes, "Since you're acting like a woman, I'll beat you like my bitch." I was like, whoa.
Ooh, the early aughts.
Oh my God. Watts goes to they brawl. Watts goes to choke slam him. The screen comes on. It's Goldie in the cage. Is Abyss behind? Can you see Abyss behind her or not?
Not really.
So they're alluding to her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure. I'm like, can you see Abyss? Or are they just alluding to like she's entrapped here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She's crying. Oh my! She's a great actress. I give it to Goldie. She really plays it up when she has to.
Yeah.
And
she's loud as hell. She doesn't hold back.
Oh, that's what I love about it.
She's got that classic Hollywood scream. It's
great. Watch drops. Cash runs to the back to try to rescue her. He gets to the back. I love that it was practical too. It was like the camera was like, it didn't take him a commercial segment to make it back there. Like they do in wrestling sometimes. Like, he ran out and he was there. Then Cash attacks him from behind. So that got we're twisting into a little feud with these two, but okay. Heavy feud though, because our heavy segment, the beating of women thing, you would never get away with that today. Never.
No.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm trying to remember what 2003 was like. A lot of it's a haze, but I have to imagine it was inappropriate then. I was probably sitting on my couch going, "What the fuck?" My wife was probably watching it with me going, "What the fuck?"
What do you want? What do I let you order on damn pay-per-view here? What is this? Intense. So, Jay, as a violent man yourself, I mean, what did you think of this?
Shots fired.
That's all I do is beat up bitches. No,
which one's Jay?
Exactly. Well, truth be told, poor J-Bone's been accused of being one of these kind of guys. Poor guy with the rough relationships he's gone through. My God, J-Bone, you poor bastard. You poor bastard. But anyway, what did you think of this?
It was awkward, but humorous at the same time, because we shouldn't be surprised at this point when something insanely controversial comes out of Kid Cash's mouth. Now, I try to remember him more for his in-ring stuff, but the more and more I see from him back then, it's like, damn, Cash.
Same.
But again, again, we have to. I hate these reviews sometimes you see, and people review them from 2020 eyes. and they just they rip the product up for, oh my God, how can they do this? It's like, guys,
you got to remember,
everything on TV was doing this. Your favorite sitcom was doing stuff like this. The other wrestling show was doing stuff like this. It was very widely accepted. The last 10 years have been maybe the shift into way more PC culture of this kind of stuff. So from 2003, guys, we probably didn't bat it. I at the time, I was like, oh shit,
I mean, that's the difference. It was probably controversial at the time.
Sure.
But to a much lesser level, and you would just let it go and it would move on or whatever the case may be. But now you just have to be more careful about that kind of stuff on television. So if you're watching it now for the first time, don't take it the wrong way. It is what it is. If you're offended by it, fast forward through the segment, it's that kind of thing. So,
exactly. And it was water cooler talk at the time, and it wasn't shared all over a social media. There wasn't the social media we have today.
Yeah.
There was the infancy of the message boards, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It really was just message boards.
So, and that plays a lot into it too. It's like, yeah, I'm sure there were plenty of people that didn't like it, but people back then, unlike now, kept their shit to themselves,
Pretty much, man. So it was interesting. It was definitely a heavy segment, but you got your little feud twisting off of it, which I imagine will just kick off into high gear next week. We go to TNA and West hyping up next week's show. Harris interrupts, super pissed off. Says A&W got screwed, and he goes, next week, you want to do us the right way. We're sick of this shit. Next week, AMW Triple X in a cage for the belts. First ever cage match in TNA history about to happen. And it won't be these two teams last. That's the fun part.
Dude, this is exciting, man. If I may stop by next week if you guys have a seat open, the cage match. Dude, the cage match I'm excited for. This is going to be a good one. Triple X, AMW in a cage. Give it to me all day.
Doors open, Mark. You come in.
Sweet.
That's totally fine.
Well, howdy ho, brother.
Well, you know what? Absolutely. Mark, you're more than welcome to come in.
Howdy ho, brother.
Let's come right in, man.
Howdy ho, brothers. Wait.
We're at the last segment. So that was it. So next week, Katie, what do you got? You look distracted, Mark. You look perplexed.
Sorry, I was reading Rex's comment, and he actually answered a question I was wondering, because if you bring up Rex's comment, I saw that happen, but I couldn't tell who it was. So when he was talking about the wardrobe malfunction, I didn't know where it was. It's when Cash first hits Watts at the cage.
Okay.
Cash's elbow bumps into the door. It opens up, and you can see Saturn naked in the background, but I couldn't tell who it was. And I guess you could see his junk, maybe. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
So do you remember a few episodes, 10 episodes ago, when I don't even know who she was showing him on the ring ropes, on the apron? I went back and I checked. I took a screenshot of that for you guys. I'm not going to go back and check on this one, but that's the moment if anyone wants to look it up and screenshot the Saturn cock or whatever happened right there.
The Saturn cock.
Yeah.
That's not Pluto.
yeah.
Those aren't rings, are they?
Yeah, the thing of Saturn.
the Perry penis.
Yes,
it's weird. There's been some wardrobe malfunctions on these Asylum shows that made it through. Trinity's was blurred. I remember that was a big one, but the other one where the girl literally was just flashing it all was not blurred at all on TV.
I have seen that penis.
Exactly.
That was the best moment for the Dawn clip ever. We saw Saturn's penis, and then Dawn saw it too.
Jesus.
All right, moving on.
Exactly. That's a lot of cock talk on this one here. That's enough.
Sorry, I won't come back next week. You cut my mic.
Cut his mic.
Cut my mic.
He is done. He's absolutely he has ruined any chances he's had. All right, sorry about that, Mark.
Saturn Stromboli. It says in the comments.
Saturn Stromboli? What? Holy shit! That's enough. That is. We are
welcome to the family, Maver X.
Yeah, Maver X. That is your initiation as the new listener. My God.
Rex went back and checked.
Oh, my God.
Man, this is horrible.
This is
Which-
fucking horrible.
Oh my goodness. Good Lord. Good Lord. Well, Rex, welcome to the family. Welcome. Not Rex. Maybe Rex, welcome to the family.
I don't know whether to say congratulations or I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously. But
I'm sweating.
who pointed who pointed out? Rex?
Rex.
Rex pointed that
Well,
out. Thank
well,
you,
we're
Rex.
not gonna forget it this time, Rex.
Oh,
Rex.
very nice. Okay. All right. Little too much information for me, but that's okay.
Oh Lord, off the rails,
man.
off the rails.
We're done.
Gary's saying, he's like, what are we surprised by? A guy wore a dress in WCW.
True. He also had a mop friend. Oh,
You took it right out of my mouth. I was just it's like, and there was a mop.
the tumultuous career of one Perry Saturn. What happened with the Eliminators? Gone too young.
The guy, no, he's alive. Maybe Perry's alive.
Oh, he is? Oh, no, that's right. He's the
Perry survived like a stabbing to the throat.
That's what it was. He was saving someone's life or something, right?
He was saving a woman from getting raped.
That's
and then
what it was.
He took a stab to the throat or the neck.
What it was.
And then he went through a rough period after that.
But he lived. That's right.
He lived. John Cronus passed away, though, one after the Eliminators. Cronus passed on. Okay, final main event. Here it is, guys. AJ and Russo come out. Russo announces that AJ's mystery partner is Sean Waltman,
And
who
this
has
is
been
the
on.
moment.
This
is the moment.
All right.
That the Asylum crowd goes.
Exactly.
So what?
Because it's like Waltman's been there already. He's done some appearances. He was late to come out. He was not in gear.
Nope.
He did not. He looked off to me on this one. Just not.
Oh, he was high as shit, dude.
He was gone.
Just walking down the ramp. He was like,
he was out there. He didn't even have boots on. He was wrestling in like regular shoes.
Was he really? I didn't even catch that.
I think so.
God.
I was because he had normal.
He didn't have his gear.
Yeah, and I was trying to
gear.
It didn't look like boots. I thought they were loafers, so I was trying to pay attention to it. I may go back and check, but it looks like he's in regular shoes. He looked terrible.
Oh,
terrible.
Ridiculous. They play this whole thing. We thought he'd never work with Russo after last time because he left, and they're like, how did he convince him? It's like no logic. They just needed a name, that's all it was. Like they didn't I love again the brilliance of TNA. Like our audience isn't stupid. People are going to remember the last time he was on. His whole thing was that he left the company because I refused to work with Vince Russo. That was the whole story they played up. And he's like, he said he'd never do it. What did Vince Russo say to him to make him do it? And it's like, thank you, Mike TNA, for treating us like, we have memories. But then here's, okay. So Jeff Jarrett and Sting come out, right? Now Sting's already been out. You've already killed like the surprise buzz. So it fell so flat. On top of which, and tell me if you guys got this too. It fucking killed me. They came out to Jeff Jarrett's music.
Oh yeah,
dude. Yeah, nothing original.
I mean, you could have thrown something together for Sting here,
dude.
Or give the guy his own entrance. Like let Jarrett come out and be like, "It's Sting."
Yeah, but Crom forbid anyone be the focus besides Jeff Jarrett during these early years of this product.
It killed me though. I was like, you've hyped up the fact that this is the first time he's on TV in the US wrestling for 2 years. Sting, one of the biggest names ever. You've already killed the buzz to have him come out in a nothing match in the beginning, top of the show. And now you have him come out just second to Jeff Jarrett on Jarrett's music. These little aesthetics make a big deal, man. And it ruined it. It just ruined it for me.
And before they even came out, go back and look at the look on AJ's face as Sean's coming down to the ring.
No shit, really.
AJ's he just looks fucking disgusted.
Are you kidding?
He's like, I am headed for a goddamn train wreck. That's the look on AJ's face. Yeah.
I did not even see that, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause it was like before, it's almost like he didn't know who it was. and then as soon as he sees them, his face just goes white.
Oh, terrible. Now Hakeem is saying something here about how he feels like, you know, AEW debuted him better than TNA did, who he was with for a decade. I'm going to take that. I'm going to give that a half point, because they never consider this his like official debut, because they always like to play up the Final Resolution debut that happened like 2 years later as like the big debut, because they did that one right.
Yeah.
And the idea, like there's a lot of stuff about the Asylum. They act like if it didn't happen on Spike, you know, it didn't happen. Like the Asylum is its own little alternate Back to the Future 2 timeline that exists, you know.
It really is.
You know, and like, yeah, like we'll refer to the Asylum when we have to talk about the deep history, but like we really started when we got to Orlando. So this is like alternate timeline Biff, you know, debut for Sting, but then the rest of the actual Orlando one's like, you know, the regular, like real. This is the real one right here.
Like Marvel, it's like Marvel Universe. It's a different Earth.
It really is in a way. Like they kind of do treat it like that sometimes, but man, the match was flat to me, unfortunately.
Yeah,
did not have a lot. I expect Sting. You know what? I love Sting. I've loved Sting. I dressed this Sting for Halloween for 7 straight years. Okay, I mean, I grew my hair out because of Sting. Okay, let's put it that way.
Oh, I thought you meant buzz cuts.
No, I did.
Many years in a row.
Crow Sting. When he grew his hair, you can look at, if you look at my freshman to senior yearbook, my hair length followed Sting. It was hilarious. Like by the time Sting was like long in '99, when he was like, he'd already gone through the wolf pack and it was long as fuck. Like that's what mine was. Like I was like literally Sting every year for Halloween. I bought a trench coat. I had a bat that I wrapped in electrical tape. I'm a Sting fucking mark. Okay. When I met Sting, it was the most embarrassing day of my life. What I said to Sting, who I waited to meet for 20 years. Did I tell you this story, Mark? I told J-Bone. I'm gonna share it right now.
Yeah, you might have told, but go ahead.
Bound for Glory Fan Fest 2008, Chicago, Hyatt Regency, Chicago. Okay, I'm hyped, man. This is Bound for Glory coming to Chicago, Sears Center, packed. I go to meet. I'm going to meet Sting. I'm like, I am meeting fucking Sting. This is great. First off, my dumb ass forgot to just take pictures of everybody I could have taken pictures with. Anyway. But I get in line to meet Sting, right? I'm like, oh, this is it. And I'm talking. This is like the icon Sting. And I'm waited 20 years. I'm talking spike hair, TBS Sting, man, everything. I get up to the line. The only thing I could muster up to say to him, and it's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" He's like, "How's it going?" And I was like, "I've been a little Stinger for 20 years, man." And he's shaking my head. He's like, that's great, man.
Get the fuck out of my table. Get the fuck out of my table.
I was like, he was like, that's great, man. Shit. What the fuck did I just say to Sting? Holy shit, man.
Sting was like, I'm so embarrassed for you, dude.
God. He signed my autograph. You know, thanks. Signed my Bound for Glory poster, which I got.
Cut your mic.
And he's like, do you want to take a picture, man? I was like, I don't have a camera. I was like, why did I fucking miss this opportunity? Why did I miss this? You know, fuck, dude, it was the worst.
What are you doing with your life?
What are you terrible
doing with your
terrible
life?
Years old? I mean, this is 2000. I'm 27 years old, about to turn 27, like a few days after this, and that's the only thing I come up with. It's fucking pathetic. It's ridiculous. You know
what is that?
Oh my god! I don't know what that icon is, but my god,
it's like a classic sad face. Like,
yeah, it is. It deserves every bit of it. Never met him since. Never met the guy since. Unbelievable.
He probably remembers it too.
Probably
tells the same story.
Well, if I ever meet him, like as a grown ass man now, which like kind of was about, I'm gonna tell him like, hey,
27. Man, I hate to break this to you.
I know. I had bills by then, you know. But like, if I ever meet him now, I'm gonna be like, hey man, listen, in like 2008, I met you, and like you won't believe the shit I said. He's like, you were that fucking guy. Like,
no, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna meet him again, and you're gonna be like, I've been a little stinger since the last time I met you. And that's gonna be the whole thing. That's it. And then he's gonna fucking death drop you. It's gonna
I'm like,
be
just
over.
kill me. Just like do away with me already, man.
That son of a bitch.
Exactly. Just end this, man. Just end it all for me right here, Sting. Please. Just please. It's
pathetic.
Absolutely. My God.
Shit, this is horrible.
Oh, this is
Man, this is horrible.
It was terrible. It was embarrassing as fuck. That was embarrassing, but very nice. Anyway, that was my Stings. Anyway, the match here though, Sting was busting his ass trying to make it work.
Sting looked great.
Sting looked great.
I enjoyed the match because I thought Sting looked great.
Exactly. Well, no, I'm going to give Sting all the credit here. Sting looked great. Waltman, nothing to offer on this one.
Dude.
AJ worked with Sting. Jarrett was just kind of doing Jarrett stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Raven gets involved. Shane Douglas gets involved. It's really schmozzy. The ending was really messy.
Very. That's kind of indicative of this period, though.
You could see because Jarrett pins AJ, which again, what the fuck was that? Why did you need to pin AJ? Like, why did Jarrett need to pin AJ?
To make sure that everyone knows who's still top of the pecking order.
Dude, I hate to say it, but that's literally what it felt like. And is it just me or was the finish redone? Jay, did you catch this? Like they did the stroke off the middle rope. It wasn't like smooth or great. The timing was off. And then like he went back to do it on the opposite side of the ring, like maybe a minute and a half later, and that was the finish. And I'm like, you redid the ending because it was flat because people were distracted by the outside at that point. It was so all over the place.
I'd have to rewatch the whole thing because I watched all this stuff out of order in order to get the cover, and then I watched the rest of it and then skipped the ending. So I watched it kind of in a hurry.
Well, you can tell at the end they're trying to tie this together into new stories.
They are, yeah.
But again, you're presented with the problem of the audience. Also, the crowd doesn't know what to do with Jarrett, even during the match. He comes in on a hot tag and hits a couple of really nice drop kicks. Actually, credit to Jarrett. And the crowd is just like, get Sting back in the ring.
We want Sting in here as much as possible at this point. It was just, man, that fell so flat. But then the other side of that was. So Raven comes out. Raven and Jarrett have had a blood feud for the last 6 months. Raven comes in, saves the faces. Shane Douglas comes in, attacks Raven. Anyway, they clear house. Raven and Jarrett face to face, and Sting gets in the middle, separates them. Because it's like, oh my god, are they gonna fight? And then he just they do the hand raise to the crowd, and that's it. Like that's how Raven is a face. All of a sudden, like Raven's a good guy. What was the shift? What's the shift in Raven here? Where does that happen? Just Mark, going back to what we said in the beginning, totally thrown together. I think the Sting, everything around Sting was like, including last week's announcement, completely like, and Waltman like thrown together. Just we have to just put something together.
Now that we've talked it out loud, it does really seem that way. Even going back to last week with that really shit graphic going. Man, what is this? The whole thing does seem very, very poorly put together, which, I don't know.
It's just a very, it's like a rush job, and it could have been more. I think if you take a look a little time, it could have been a little bit more.
They should have flipped these last two matches, honestly. The tag match was a great match, but they wanted to blow off with all this heavy booking at the end here and with the Sting thing. But
especially, Jay, if you already blew the load with Sting at the top of the show.
Yeah.
What did he need to be in the main event for at this point? You already showed him off to the crowd. You already showed everybody how the magic worked here.
When it seemed so hard for them to keep everything going, and it seemed like Waltman was overselling stuff. He'd get knocked out in the middle of the ring. He would be literally like you sell stuff like, oh God, I'm in pain. But he was laying there like he was like so high, he was just like dead. It's like, and then someone would try to pick him up like, oh yeah, we got to continue. It's like, dude, come on, get in the match.
That's the thing. They weren't strong enough. The chemistry wasn't strong enough to carry a bag of dead weight like Waltman was in this match around. And then again, the heavy booking at the end, Jarrett getting the pin. I liked the match because Sting looked really good.
Sting looked good.
Sting and AJ in a ring, dude, all day. You know,
right?
Which we see a ton of later on, years later. It's the feud and the Impact, right? So
3 out of 4 look tremendous here.
Yeah,
Just trying to keep it going, and
it was again early TNAs, very chaotic. Sometimes it works, kind of like WCW, right? Close with the big brawl, get a lot of storylines set up for the B show in the next week. It didn't really work here. I don't think.
Let me tell you, Mark, there were plenty of episodes in the first half of these shows, like 1 through 20, 30, whatever, where we would call our highlights from the show somewhere in the first part or the middle of the 2 hours. And the main event was like you could tell they were the headliners, Scott Hall and someone or whatever, but the match was it's like the tag teams and the X division were the shining.
Oh yeah,
the shining people here.
Yeah, it was always the X division, the tag teams, and to me, and even some of the early women too. But the X and the tag was what hooked this company to start.
Yeah,
you had good heavyweights, but it just wasn't like that. Wasn't what stole the show.
When we're trying to protect Jarrett so much because the business side of things and the situation on the books behind the scenes, there's only so much you can expect to be successful. And that's what we're seeing is that bottleneck at the top.
Yeah. And that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So it was a little weird, man. Not the greatest, not the greatest ending to the whole thing.
That tag match though.
The tag match is the highlight. 100% AMW and Triple X. No question about it. That's it. And that proves, that reiterates the young crop in TNA at this point is like just on fire, So hats off to all those guys, man. They really nailed it. So
London and Sabin was dope too.
Oh yeah. Oh, shout out to we didn't talk about that.
We skipped that, didn't we?
We did, because I have shout out to Paul London for the Nightwing logo on his trunks. That's my all-time favorite.
We completely missed London and Sabin.
We did,
because there's a run-in from CM Punk. I'm like, wait, did we?
We talked about Punk prior. We just skipped right to New Jack and Goldie. That's what. Oh shit.
Yeah, we did.
London and Sabin. Oh my god. But definitely shout out. It was a short match though. By the way, that one that was really short for next.
Yeah, that was like 4 minutes or something.
It was super short.
Running Shooting Star off the apron in 2003 probably popped me out of my seat, maybe out of my entire house at the time. I would imagine that was pretty slick.
That was pretty sweet. I did notice one thing. The London at the time though, he came out to Kid Cash's prior music. Kid Cash, you notice that Cash at this point has had 3 songs, and one of them I can never find online, which I like that one a lot, and I can never find the one, the really slow kind of grungy one I can never find. But the other one, London comes out to. You know what happened? We were talking about the whole Julio and the buttholes whisker and all that, and then the New Jack, like it was sandwiched between 2 really funny things.
Yeah, because Punk went from talking about the gathering to trying to impress by doing something in ring and interfering and doing something and doing the whole,
he hits an even flow or a Raven effect on.
That's right.
On Sabin, right? Or
on London.
Yeah.
London, because Sabin retains.
Yeah. So sorry about the guys. We really we talked about Punk in the back. We just didn't talk about what he walked out to. That's totally a botch on our part. So we botched that too. It wasn't the year one was fantastic I loved year one. Don't get me wrong. This year one show, I'm going to give it a C. It didn't really, it didn't blow me away. There was a couple of things that saved it, but man, it was a C for me on this one. I was not. And at the time, very well in 2003, I could have been marking out like crazy on this. That was the greatest show ever.
Same
with 17-year aged eyes. It's not the greatest year one show. I felt like there was so much more you could have done with this show, or just left on the table. But kudos to the people who did save it, because I felt they busted their ass and knocked out of the park. So, but that was it, guys. That's number 50. That's year one in the book. So 50 episodes on the book here on Total Nonstop Impact. You guys can go back and watch them. Early days, just me and J-Bone doing the first. God, Dad, you and I just did the first maybe half of these, like first 25, just us.
Yeah.
About, yeah.
And then Bill jumped in around 29, 30-ish, I want to say. And Bill's, or maybe even later, even later than that. So you and I had quite a bit of them on our own.
Yeah. Shout out to the 2-man booth. You guys are the original 2-man booth now for this current incarnation of TNI. Shout out to Scumbag Kyle, the originator. But man, J-Bone's not looking. He's trying to fist bump you, left him hanging in front of the entire world. Wait, what is even? God, cut both of your video feeds.
All right, son, we're out of here. God. I was trying to give him the guy the fist bump. He's the one who made it awkward.
I was just being humble, like.
Yeah, this is horrible.
This is fucking horrible. God, I should never come on again.
Oh, come
Jesus.
on.
It's I tell you what, it was something that we had talked about doing for several months, and it just took a while to get going because I was still new in the podcast and we were just getting to know each other, and then just getting more comfortable doing more projects. And the podcast just grew. So, and it was the first thing we decided to do as far as original content back on this channel.
Yes.
So to see how many people have tuned in for them, some more than others, which is understandable because it is a throwback. It's not the current stuff, but we still have a blast doing it. We try to point people in the direction of the Impact Plus app to tune into these because they deserve to be watched. They deserve more attention. As wonky as some of this stuff is, we still have a blast talking about.
I look forward to the throwback every week. I mean, current product is one thing. I mean, that's our flagship, and we love, what we do there. But throwback is because it's nostalgic and it's so much fun to watch. Yeah. But no, I remember Jay last December. I distinctly remember we took this on last December. We were still doing the flagship show on the lounge.
Yeah.
We were still syndicated there. And we said, we still have this channel that Kyle had originally started just kind of sitting dead. And we're like, let's at least get something on this channel.
Yeah.
And then it all kind of cultivated, guys. And we left the lounge and we brought the flagship back home. And we started, we already had this rolling. And then we started doing Plus Weekly and all the other little stuff, pay-per-views, you name it. So we've done some fun stuff since building this channel back in a very short amount of time, and which really just took off in April, to be honest, like right around the pandemic. So we're really focused on this channel. So
yeah, anyway, because I started keeping track of the numbers and just seeing the growth of everything March 1st, and we left a month later.
Yeah,
and then we started the Twitch a month after that, just getting into June. So it's been really interesting watching this. It's crazy.
I mean, I can give the fan perspective. I mean, obviously, if anyone, for the new people here, I'm not a regular on this show. I sit in every once in a while, usually on the Sunday night show, but that's getting too crowded these days.
With Kyle actually showing up, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, to watch you guys grow has been fantastic. I mean, I'm sure like most of the regulars in the chat would say the same thing. You know, we went from once a week, you know, the three of you with, you know, you two and Kyle, to what we have now, which is, God, I mean, we're kind of shitty sometimes. We're like, hey, J-Bone, why aren't you on tonight? Like, we're bored. Or like, hey, guys, how come you're not doing the throwback this week? That's kind of fucked up. What am I going to do on Thursday night now?
Right.
I got to go work at your job and shit. That's stupid. You know, like, I mean, I won't say what it is, but I have been trying. Well, not trying. I've been fucking dropping the ball, but trying to develop some content for this channel with some others myself. And there's just been a variety of things that have happened, but like, it's not easy to do this all the time.
It takes time.
You know, it takes a lot of time and effort. And like during this pandemic, I know you guys have grown because you've been a rock for all of us. So I don't, you know, I just want to, this isn't about the show, obviously, but like I'm here. I'm not high anymore. So I'm just going to say, that, you know, I got to go back to the treehouse after this. But no, like, I mean, I appreciate it. It's been it's really been an important thing. Like, I know a lot of people, if I can just kind of go on a tangent since I'm
sure, of course.
You know, Kiara Hogan's, like a lot of you guys do know me offline and know that I have some mental health issues myself. And to see Kiara Hogan's post today, it's like, man, this is a hard time for everybody. You know, and you find your rocks in strange places, and like this group and this family, this total nonstop impact thing has really been like fucking just super, super solid for me for the last 8 months through this bullshit. So sorry to get so heavy.
No, listen,
love you guys.
No,
Awesome.
we appreciate hearing stuff like that because we throw this out on a daily / weekly basis between this crew and me myself over on Smash This Podcast.
There's something, yeah.
And you hear stuff once in a while that really grounds you, and it's good to hear that because it's like you never know who your stuff is going to reach. Whether it's like someone in the next town or someone literally on the other side of the planet, which I've experienced that. One of my regular guys on here, Paul from Hawaii, thousands of miles away or whatever, it's just like, wow. And you see the reactions and you get the messages and just thank you everyone, because it's
humbling, man.
It is. And it's what keeps us going in the best way possible. Like, hey, we're doing something right here. Thank you everyone for the feedback. And it's not a bragging thing. It's hey, we're not fucking up. We're not perfect. We're not the best thing out there, but we're doing something right. We're growing and people are coming along for the ride, and it feels great. So thank you.
Yeah, well, when you build a community and people find it, especially in a time of need like right now, there's a fulfillment aspect there. So again, I'll cut it short. I'm rambling, but yeah.
No, I appreciate that, Mark.
No, it's okay, man.
You've become a great friend through all this too. So it's been great to get to know all these people, and
you're like part of the family. You may not be on all the time, but you're still part of the family. You're doing stuff with me over on Smash This Podcast. You're helping me cover all the odd pay-per-views in between the big ones. So I appreciate you too.
And definitely. And then Mark is developing something to put on. We're thinking of some original stuff for Mark to do too. So you've become a part of this family too. And we appreciate everybody. A lot of regulars here, man. I mean, all the people who are in every stream,
no doubt.
We couldn't do it without you guys. And we're glad we could all be here through this pandemic and doing this. And like I said, we did this a year ago. We started doing the throwbacks, and it's become such a fun little thing. The numbers aren't as high as the flagship, but it's a nice thing to still connect, later in the week, and for all the nostalgic old school fans. And it's just such a fun, I like hanging out with everybody. It's kind of cool. So
it is
just another thing to do, man. So I appreciate that.
It is also fun comparing, because it's eerie almost sometimes how similar it is to today's tumultuous wrestling scene. Like, people are getting hired and fired every week. You never know. And somebody's going to, we were talking last night, 24 hours ago, how Sting showed up in AEW, and we're reviewing what happened 17 years ago, how Sting showed up in TNA. So it's
crazy. It's just wild.
Wild. So wild. Last night Impact trended the highest it's trended in, I don't even know how long. Years.
Hey, I'll give it. I don't want to take this away from Impact, because on their own, they did. Slammiversary was trending at fucking number 1 and 2 at one point. So I'm not going to take that away.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Of course, I'm not trying to take
the highlight mark is that they trended on a day they weren't even on TV. That's the hook.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah. The hook is that we are here because we love the shit out of Impact. Everyone in this chat, everyone on this show, everyone that's a part of this TNI family. And now the whole wrestling world of 600 to 800,000 people on Wednesdays are going to see what 125 to 130,000 of us plus 2,000 on Twitch already know is that Impact is the shit. And the possibilities for this, like I get, and I mentioned this in the Discord for those of you that are there, like for Trent and Bill.
Links in the description, guys. Join the Discord. Yeah.
Absolutely, join the Discord. Don't forget to hit up the pro wrestling tees as well.
We'll get those in.
Yeah. Wait, what was I saying?
You were talking about the just the fan base and everybody coming together and seeing what Impact does. Treehouse.
Yeah, Treehouse. We've been on for an hour and 53. So
Yeah. And listen, I can keep going. And listen, guys, we're planning something. I'm going to drop up here first, and then I'm going to reiterate on Sunday and Tuesday again. We're planning something for like maybe after Final Resolution, some point leading to Christmas. to do I'm thinking do like an overnight type deal. I'm talking overnight Twitch, just hang out, co-stream, shoot the shit, something. And all the money raised on Twitch that night, we're going to donate to Toys for Tots.
Nice.
So I'm going to put that out there. We're going to be planning that a little more over the next week. We want to get through turning. Next week's going to be huge impact as it is. Jay's got a bunch of shit going on. And then I want to get through Final Resolution and just wrap that up. And then we'll announce the the all-nighter for Twitch stream and like I said, everything that's raised from subs and bits goes Toys for Tots. So I'll just drop that ball here now. This just feeds more of that community talk we did, guys. It's been generous. I cannot emphasize enough how year one of really just taking this channel to what it is has been. We've grown into a very successful podcast. The Impact crew, the Impact management loves us. We're respected by them. That's nothing more I could ask for. So we're going to continue to grow this. It's a big time for Impact Wrestling. We want to keep inviting more and more friends to come in here and hang out with us. Spread the word, guys. Sub, be a part of the whole deal. We're all here. We're here to stay. So as long as there's a show to talk about, we're here. We're gonna keep doing. So, Jay, we got one more year of Asylum. You in for one more year with me?
Oh hell yeah! Oh shit! Excuse me. Oh shit!
Oh, shit. All right, let's get our plugs. Let's get our plugs. Mark, we're going to connect with you. You're very active on Twitter and a very great follow. So,
well, thank you very much. And you can find me at Taya W. I'm still not good at this.
I know I still don't know it. There it is.
Yeah, right there on Twitter. That's it. The other stuff is all non-wrestling related. So,
Mark's a great follow for if you're a wrestling Impact Wrestling fan, especially. So, follow Mark, guys. Jay Bone, what do you got going on this week? Where can they follow you?
You can follow me over on our other little podcast called Smash This Podcast. Trust me.
Hulk hands.
I marked down. I totally marked down for the Hulk hands because that's a little inspiration of the whole Smash thing because I'm a comic book fan. So yeah, I popped for that. I was like, oh my god, it's the Hulk hands. You can find Smash This Podcast over on the Twitch and the YouTube. Go look it up. Go give it some love, a sub, cheer bits, or gift a sub, or whatever you want to do. You can also find it over on the Facebotch, Twitter box, and Instaneck.
Goddamn Instaneck. I gotta love the Facebotch is, I think, getting to be funnier than Instaneck.
Instaneck. I say Instaneck at home and my family pops. So.
I like it. Guys, you can get me over at Trent Zuberi over on Twitter. The show at We Talk Impact, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You know, I gotta start putting this back on. I have a whole deal at the end of the show. I used to put this on at the bottom to let everybody know where you can follow us. Look, it's all the links are at the bottom. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thank you for listening. At We Talk Impact, guys. All audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Amazon, you name it. We're on it audio-wise. YouTube, Total Nonstop Impact, twitch.tv/Total Nonstop Impact, ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact. Get a shirt. We got bills, yo. Get a shirt. Apple. Cheer bits, subscribe, guys, on all the channels we're on. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribing is on Twitch it does. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch subscription, which you can use to sub to us. So if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch sub a month. So use that to your advantage, guys. Get on.
I just used mine tonight.
Very nice. There you go. So guys, we'll connect with us there Sunday night. If you don't know, it's the Impact Plus Weekly. We talk Explosion. We talk open forum. We open the doors up. It's the Sunday dinner. We just anything you want to talk about. We give you 1 hour of just, talk about what the fuck you want to talk about.
Potluck, bitches.
This goddamn week's gonna have a lot, so I'm sure we're gonna raise
the dude. I can't wait. I can't wait for the Sunday show.
I can't wait for Tuesday because the flagship show is gonna be on fire. Tuesday night, guys. 30 minutes after Impact goes off the air, after Aftershock is done, we go on the flagship show, Total Nonstop Impact. Join us live. It's interactive, and get on with us. This is gonna be a big one, guys. You don't want to miss Tuesday night. So subscribe to us now. Be notified.
I have a question on behalf of the chat, just since we're here.
Sure.
Will there be a Wednesday show?
Jay covers Wednesday for AEW. I think we're going to pitch the traffic to Jay for Smash's podcast. He's already got the Wednesday market. What maybe we can do is, Jay, if you're looking for company, we can have up to 10 people in our platform, in our studio.
Yeah.
So maybe we can do a little invasion of our own, and TNI can show up and talk on that one because you're already with.
I'm gonna get this guy watching AEW because he doesn't watch anything else.
He's got no excuse not to now. We have a reason to be watching. All of us watching AEW. Trent.
Oh man, it's true. They got me with this now.
And I want to say thank you to everyone because of the hype of the last 24 hours in the news, because we went on last night at midnight after I did my Smash This Podcast review of AEW and all the hype from that. We came in here, we did a news bit for an hour and just talked about the fantasy booking of what could happen and the news that broke about Kenny Omega going to Impact Wrestling with Don Callis. So we talked about that for a while, and everybody who came in because of the hype from that, welcome and thank you for joining us, because man, the end of this year is just going to get batshit crazy. So come along for the ride, because we're all crazy about it too.
Yeah, if you've come over as an AEW fan, welcome. Like, let's watch these promotions make absolute magic together. This is going to be so fun. I can't wait.
No matter how little or how big it gets.
I'm happy with whatever we get, as long as it's a balanced and fair deal on both sides, and it's going to make the fans happy. This is awesome. I love it.
Absolutely. On that note, guys, we'll see you Sunday night. Tune in on Sunday, Tuesday, and next Thursday will be episode 51, NWA-TNA. More throwback. It never stops. We love it. Get your Impact Plus subscription if you don't have it. Free 30-day trial. Follow along with us. Guys, have a great weekend. We love you. Thanks to all the new people who jumped on with us. We'll see you Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good night.
Find me the name of this garbage show again that I'm on.
Total non-stop impact.
My name's John, capital letter E, period, Bravo, and you're listening to the Total Non-Stop Impact Podcast.
This is the jaw-jacking Tuesday night impacting. His mother called him son because he shines like one. Mocha skin manimal, Rohit Raju, and you are watching Total Non-Stop Impact.
This is Taya La Güera Loca, and you are listening to Total Non-Stop Impact.
The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and you're listening to Total Nonstop Impact.
We are the Rascals, and you are listening to Total
Non-Stop
Impact Podcast, baby.
Woo! And what you're really listening to is Total Non-Stop Impact. Don't you dare miss a lesson. Oh, yeah.